Coming in off of a great week last week, look to continue that trend this week. The only issue with today is that we have too many good props. So it's going to be tough to choose a bet of the day for you guys, but we'll go ahead and go through the process, touching on the Lakers versus Denver game. Can Denver close it out? We have some actual good NHL props today, and then we're going to continue, hopefully, that hot streak with the MLB hitting fantasy score props. Let's get into it. All right, so the Saturday slate wrapped up another really solid week 4, 9 of 5. Hopefully, you guys were able to take advantage of that. We went 4 for 6 on the day. Didn't come out with a video on Sunday, but on the week last week, we only had one bad day, which went 2 for 5, but did have the week start out with a 6 for 8 day, 5 for 5, 4 for 4, 3 for 3, and 2 for 2. So it was a really awesome week. Hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that. Hopefully we can do that again today or this week as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. And just a reminder, make sure to like and subscribe. Guys, we did get to 10K. Really proud of that. Appreciate that. But let's go ahead and get into the picks for today. All right, so looking at the game preview today, we do have the Lakers versus the Nuggets. The Lakers are actually favored to win. I say actually because, well, they have not really looked good. And it is going to be a very high scoring game as well. That's going to mean that we're going to have some production that we want to chase for the overs. Typically speaking, I like slates like these that are higher scoring because it just makes it a little bit easier to stack. So we touch on that. And let's start with that. All right, so looking at as a whole, the best prop that we are getting on the day currently would be Austin Reeves for over 4.5 assists, but we can see he's projected to get 4.29. To me, if we're just looking at this, the best prop that we'd be getting would be one of these ones with Dennis for over points or like Michael Porter Jr. for over points. But really, the best props that we are seemingly going to be getting are going to be some fantasy score props. And so let's go ahead and just get into the general PrizePicks cheat sheet to show you guys that. So on the slate, the two biggest edges that we are getting in terms of what the Vegas line has a player projected to do and what the PrizePicks prop line has it set out is going to be fantasy points. And so one of them is going to be with Denver with Bruce Brown here. Okay. And so this is just one of those bets that we could be making just based off the Vegas lines that we are getting. So minus 152 is essentially the line that we get for his fantasy score prop, but that's at 26. So in theory, this should be a really good number that we are getting. Let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit deeper. So we can see against the Lakers, he has been someone that has been going off. And if you guys have been following the channel, you know that I've been all over Jamal Murray. Especially in this series because, well, the defensive matchups are much easier for them this series. And that makes sense why someone like Bruce Brown has also been productive as well. So, yes, he is a role player that has been highly efficient, and he more likely than not is due to have a bad game. And it wouldn't be shocking for that to kind of happen. Maybe the Nuggets just don't come out ready to play and the Lakers get a gentleman's sweep, right? Nuggets just don't show up today. That could happen, okay? I don't really want to game theory it that way. I'm just going to go with what the lines are telling us, what the cheat sheet's telling us. And so for me, that would be looking at Bruce Brown for over fantasy points. And then from there, you also saw Michael Porter Jr. as a good fantasy score prop. Now, if you guys watched the previous video from Saturday, he was one of those players that was on the betting card. And the reason why that was because in the previous game, he got into foul trouble pretty early on in that game. Thus, he didn't get the minutes he typically would. And part of that was that he had 3 turnovers as well. So he should have had his over fantasy score had those two things not occurred. He was right there. Okay, so for me, that was kind of an easier prop bet to be on because he typically isn't someone that gets into foul trouble and typically isn't someone that will turn over the basketball. So I like the fact that the cheat sheet is also seeing this as one of those props that we should be on. And they're heavily favoring it based off the average sportsbook lines that we are getting out there. Projected to get over. The average Vegas line says it should be over. And so 27 has been that number that's been at really this series. So that to me is going to be a good prop line that we could go in on. We are seeing some value there. Now I do want to talk about some prop lines where Underdog and PrizePicks are not seeing eye to eye on. And if you guys like one of these props, well, you know how to game it, then you know where to place that prop bet. So I had mentioned that Jamal Murray had been someone we've been on a decent amount, right? If you want to continue to roll with Jamal Murray, the move would not be to make the prop bet on PrizePicks, okay? That line is set at 45, okay? Like I mentioned, it just wouldn't be shocking to see the Nuggets have a disappointing game, especially with Vegas thinking that the Nuggets are going to lose, okay? And don't get me wrong, his projection, that stuff is being pulled in from the season averages, okay? So I'm not too worried about it too much, okay? He's been getting a lot more run and whatnot, so that all goes into it. But this is a very big difference. 1.75 points is a lot. And so this would be a prop bet that on Underdog, if you think he's going to continue to play well, bet the over there. If you think that maybe the Nuggets struggle today, then you could bet the under on PrizePicks. Over on Underdog, under on PrizePicks. That's the way to go. And then we also see LeBron. This is almost a full point difference as well. Once again, the Lakers are favored to win. So if you want to roll with LeBron to have a good game, I'm perfectly fine with that. Those are really the best prop bets that we were getting on the day. Let's go ahead and look at some other prop bets just in general for the day. And guys, the biggest struggle today is literally that we have a lot of solid prop bets. Let's go ahead and start with some NHL props that we were getting. We are seeing some good shots on goal props. So this is really shocking to me that we are getting 3 really good NHL props because they just haven't been out there. This is not something PrizePicks has been doing. They have been literally just bumping these all up to pushes. So we got one that's a 54% chance to hit, one and then 2 others that if we round up, about a 54% chance to hit. These are prop bets that we can make. If you want to bet all 3 of them together, you can. One of these players are team, or 2 of these are teammates. So if you want to split it up and just bet 2 separate bets, you could do that as well. But to me, those are going to be 3 solid prop bets that we were getting just percentage wise. And let's just look at them. Like we could ride the hot hand here with this one, as we saw is one of the better prop bets that we were getting on the day. Then we got another one, a little bit hit or miss, as we can see here. Okay. Probably due to have a better day in terms of shots on goal. And then the last one was one that I thought would get bumped up throughout the day, and I didn't include it on the Saturday slate, and that's pretty much exactly what happened, like 10 minutes after I posted the video. But he was able to get the overshots on goal as well. So all 3 of these are going to be solid NHL props if you want to go in and make those. All right. Well, real quickly here, they just came out with some pitching props for MLB as I transition into MLB. Let's look at Chris Bassett. I was very curious to see what his fantasy line would be. Pretty solid. He's been someone that's been pitching well. I'd be perfectly fine rolling with him as well. That is just a prop bet that caught my eye as I was recording this video. Haven't really researched it too much, but it seems like a very good line. Let's go ahead and look at some of the hitting prop. And so we are getting a few really solid hitting prop bets. And so once again, with the hitting fantasy score prop, we have seen these hit way too much. Honestly, it's just, they've been insane. And if you take what was my favorite prop bet of the day from this hitting score prop, they've hit like, I think 9 out of 9 now with Bryce Harper hitting. It's been an insane run. And even if you look at Saturday where I had 2 props, 50% still hit. I mean, that's still pretty solid. So looking at, we got Nolan Arenado for over. Okay, we can see he's projected to really go off. Vegas also think that his line should be set at 9.7. That's a really solid one. But I think the one that I like the most is going to be Paul Goldschmidt. Just given the fact that the Vegas line, we are seeing juice in there with this Vegas line, but at the same time, Vegas is saying that probably should be at 11, and he's also projected to get 11.2. With his line being set at 8.5, that does seem to be like a pretty big edge there. So to me, that's going to be the best MLB prop bet on the day. And we also have a couple of other ones that are solid. We got Marcus here. We got Bo here. Those are 2 that you could go ahead and include in there if you wanted to. But remember, what we are trying to do is find where both the prop line based off of the Vegas lines are coming in and what his projected fantasy score. I want to see the biggest plus edge to those props. And those are going to be the ones I'm chasing. So Paul Goldschmidt, then Nolan Arenado, then Marcus, then Bo. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the bet of the day. I just realized at the top of the graphic here, I might need to bump that up to 61%. I might need to update the graphic there. Bet on a slight run. But as I say, like for all these good runs, there's going to be some bad runs as well. Like hitting over 60% of the time, even with being smart about gaming the game, chasing tacos, chasing hot dogs and whatnot, is an insanely high number. And especially lately where it's been closer to 80%, it's definitely going to come back down to that average. Just want to warn people about that. All right, guys. So my biggest issue on today, and I mentioned this a couple times now, is that there are too many good props to really make this is my favorite bet of the day because we have so many solid props. So it's really going to be up to you guys how you want to go about doing it. I would say if you could stack, do that. I like stacking the best. And so I kind of mentioned earlier with the NHL prop, with these 2 being teammates, what you could do if you wanted to, and this player would have to get over 2 shots or over 1.5 shots and goal, but you could pair them up with these 2. Okay. And then, that's an EV bet then, because obviously you can't stack 2 teammates. And then we got the top MLB prop and then the 2 top NBA props as well. That's certainly something that you can go ahead and roll with. And then just wanted to highlight the top hitting props as well. Could easily toss in, I think, Chris Bassett as well in there for pitching score fantasy prop. But like I said, we are getting a lot of strong bets today that for Monday is honestly very shocking. Typically Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, those are the tightest the boards are. And it seems like a day in which we should be attacking, which to me is kind of strange for a Monday. But that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate that. Also, hit the notification bell as well. There are many times where people will come in and benefit from getting that early notification because I am someone that I'm going to put out a video when the proper research has been done, when we are getting enough good props out there. Okay. So I'm not like rushing to make content. I'm letting it, I don't even consider content. Okay. I'm like waiting for the correct pieces of information, the correct research tools for the day, and then coming out with a video. Okay. So if you hit that notification bell, it'll help you be able to get the best props in the day before maybe they get adjusted after this video is uploaded. All right. Thanks for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.